June 1944. Norfolk, Virginia. The hum of diesel engines fills the humid summer air as a column of trucks rolls through the naval yard. Inside one of them sit 20 German prisoners of war, U-boat sailors from the North Atlantic, captured after their submarine was forced to surface by depth charges from a US destroyer escort. Their uniforms are torn, still reeking of salt water and oil. Kapitänleutnant Ernst Vogel, once the proud commander of U-571, stares through the barred window. Outside, an endless forest of steel cranes moves like mechanical giants. Sparks fly from welders, showers of light glinting off the skeletons of ships under construction. The smell of molten metal and paint fills the air. "Was ist das?" one of the sailors whispers. Vogel answers quietly, "Amerika baut Schiffe." America is building ships. Their truck slows, passing row after row of incomplete hulls. On the dock, thousands of men and women, young, old, civilian, move with precision. Women in overalls rivet bulkheads. Forklifts ferry crates of supplies. On a nearby sign, red letters shout, "Loose lips sink ships." A US Navy lieutenant riding in the front seat turns back with a grin. "You boys thought you'd sunk half our fleet, huh? Well, take a look around. We're building them faster than you can find them." The Germans fall silent. Their defeat feels less about torpedoes and more about something larger, something unstoppable. As the truck drives deeper into the shipyard, the prisoners see a destroyer being launched sideways into the bay, crashing into the water amid cheers. Workers wave flags, confetti raining down. The sailors exchange glances, confusion mixed with disbelief. "Impossible," murmurs Vogel. "No country can build this fast." But America was proving otherwise. September 1942. Richmond, California. Steam rises from the bay as dawn breaks over Kaiser Shipyard's Numpel 2. The clang of hammers echoes across the fog, thousands of them striking in rhythm like the heartbeat of an industrial giant. From an observation deck, Henry J. Kaiser, a former construction magnate turned shipbuilder, surveys the chaos he helped create. Below him, a workforce of over 90,000 people, many of them women and newly arrived migrants, swarm over the hull of a Liberty ship named SS Robert E. Peary. It's only been 4 days since the keel was laid. 4 days. That number sounds like madness, even to the men at the War Production Board. Before the war, building a cargo ship could take 8 months. But Kaiser's method, mass production, prefabrication, relentless shifts, had rewritten every rule in naval history. In the lunch tents, the workers joke between bites of cold sandwiches. "We're not building ships," one woman laughs. "We're stamping them out like biscuits." Another welds a seam in record time, sweat and sparks flying. By sunset, cranes hoist the final plates into place. Torches hiss, rivets pop. The Peary stands complete, the fastest ship ever built, ready for launch in 4 days, 15 hours and 29 minutes. Newspapers call it a miracle. Across the Pacific, Admiral Donitz receives intelligence reports with disbelief. His U-boat captains boast about sinking a dozen Allied freighters a month. But the Americans are replacing them every week. For every ship lost, 2 new hulls slide into the water, crewed by young sailors barely old enough to shave. Meanwhile, Kaiser's shipyards keep multiplying. One on the East Coast, another in Oregon, another in Maine. By 1943, Liberty ships are leaving dry docks at such speed that even experienced dockmasters can't keep up with the paperwork. Each vessel bears a new name: SS Hope, SS Victory, SS Freedom. Words that sound like declarations. From above, the shipyard glows at night like a small city. Smokestacks belch fire. Floodlights pierce the darkness. On the perimeter fence, a simple sign reads, "We build ships here to end this war faster." And they did. February 1943. North Atlantic, 400 miles west of Ireland. The sea is grey and restless. The wind bites like steel. On the bridge of U-623, a young German radio operator listens in disbelief as his commander reads the latest communiqué from Admiral Donitz's headquarters. Convoy HX-227, the message says, is heavily escorted. Surface attacks no longer possible. Dive immediately if detected. It's not the warning that shocks them, it's what follows. Intelligence notes that the Americans are replacing ships faster than they can be sunk. Kapitänleutnant Ernst Vogel, now reassigned after his capture, had written about this in his debriefs. His words were circulating among the U-boat crews. They build like ants, endless, tireless. Even when you crush one, 100 more appear. The U-boat surfaces at night to recharge batteries. In the distance, faint lights shimmer. A convoy. The silhouettes of Liberty ships stretch across the horizon. Black shapes in the moonlight. There are dozens of them, steaming toward Europe, loaded with fuel, tanks, and food. Escort destroyers guard them like wolves. Each Liberty ship is simple, slow, and ugly. But there are thousands. 6,000 built in 4 years. A torpedo officer squints through the periscope. "So many," he whispers. "How can they have so many?" The captain lowers the scope. "Because they have factories instead of shipyards." He's right. Across the Atlantic, America's assembly lines hum 24 hours a day. Where once craftsmen shaped each plate by hand, now massive prefabrication yards send entire hull sections by rail to the coast. Cranes lift, welders fuse, and within days, another ship joins the fleet. In Washington, Admiral Ernest J. King reads the newest figures. 1942, 1,087 ships launched. 1943, 1,948 more. 1944, a staggering 2,710. "Gentlemen," he says to his staff, "we've built a navy from nothing. Now let's use it." Back on the Atlantic, depth charges explode. The sea shakes. One by one, the hunters become the hunted. By late 1943, the U-boat threat is broken, crushed not by individual genius, but by industrial will. For the first time, convoys steam freely, their decks stacked high with supplies destined for the liberation of Europe. Each Liberty ship that survives carries not just cargo, but the weight of American determination. And somewhere in a POW camp in Kansas, Vogel hears the news. He leans against the barbed wire fence, staring at the endless American plains. "They did it," he murmurs to another prisoner. "They built an ocean." May 1945. A POW camp outside Fort Riley, Kansas. The war is over. The barbed wire fences stand quiet under a broad American sky. Rows of German prisoners, once soldiers of Hitler's navy, now plant cabbages and mend fences. The prairie wind carries the distant hum of locomotives. Endless trains rumbling east, loaded with grain, machines, and men returning home. Kapitänleutnant Ernst Vogel sits at a picnic table beneath a crude wooden shelter, his uniform now faded to grey-green dust. Before him lies a copy of Life magazine. On its cover, a photograph of a US naval shipyard, hundreds of cranes and vessels in the frame. The headline reads, "America's Arsenal of Democracy, 6,000 ships to victory." He stares at the image for a long time. The photo shows women in headscarves and men in denim overalls standing beside the hull of a massive victory ship. The caption says the vessel was completed in just 10 days. One of the guards, an older Navy veteran, notices his gaze. "You know," he says in a friendly tone, "that shipyard was a swamp before the war. Kaiser built it from the mud, poured the concrete, raised the cranes, and had ships floating inside a year." Vogel doesn't answer. He flips through the pages. Ship after ship, smiling welders, charts of tonnage produced per month. It's not propaganda. It's numbers. It's math. And math doesn't lie. He finally speaks, his English halting but clear. "We thought your country was soft. Factories, radios, movies, not war." The guard chuckles. "Factories were our war. We didn't just fight with bullets. We built faster than you could shoot." Outside the fence, a convoy of military trucks roars past, carrying crates stamped US Navy Pacific Reassignment. Even as Europe breathes its first peace in 6 years, new ships are already being sent to finish the fight against Japan. Vogel closes the magazine. For the first time, he understands something his officers never did: that America's greatest weapon wasn't a battleship or a bomb. It was organization, ingenuity, scale, faith in ordinary people. He looks up at the Kansas horizon, endless and bright. "You built a navy," he says softly, "the way we built an army, with belief." The guard nods. "That's right, Captain. And belief doesn't sink easy." As the sun sets, the camp loudspeaker crackles. A radio broadcast from Washington announcing another milestone. New ship designs already underway for a peacetime fleet. The German prisoners listen quietly, some shaking their heads, others smiling in disbelief. The same disbelief they'd felt years earlier, staring out the truck window at the cranes of Norfolk, has returned. But now it carries a different weight, not confusion, not denial, something closer to respect. For men like Vogel, the war ended not with the sound of surrender, but with the realization of what they truly faced: a nation that had turned blueprints into battleships, dreams into steel, and labor into victory.